Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be continuing with a project that we haven't worked on for a little while. The red Bolens 1253. Now it's a bit difficult once you've stopped the project and you're coming back to it because you can't fully remember what you've done. But we have done a couple of jobs since the last video on this tractor. Now, if I open the bonnet here, one of the first ones was the fuel tap. We put a new one on because the old one was leaking fuel. And we also, because of a suggestion we got, we rerouted the fuel pipe around the front here because before it was going under the engine. And we also need to find a grill cover piece for the front of the engine, but that isn't today's job. And then what we tried to do was turn it over, and it turned over all right, but the starter motor, the original one that I have here, was not turning over quick enough and is just faulty to actually start it. So we had to get another one from one of our other 1253s, which isn't helpful stealing parts off a different tractor, seeing as we want to get that one working soon. But this starter motor should allow this to start up now. So we're now feeling confident enough to take the tractor off of the workbench and see if it'll start, and then we'll go from there. Now, before we take it off the bench, I'd just like to show you the difficulty in changing the starter motor. So you can see on the original one here, there's 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. If we look at the replacement one on the tractor, we can see these 2. But then the difficulty comes with the third one, which is all the way up here, behind the bracket that mounts the fuel tank to the engine, which it's probably possible to do that, undo that, put this new starter motor on, and do it back up again with the fuel tank there. But we just found it easier to take the fuel tank and the bracket holding it onto the engine off to put the new starter motor on. We've got the tractor down off the bench now, and we're just checking it over for things before we try and start it up. Speaking of which, I'll turn on the fuel tap so that we can see if there's any fuel leaks, which it doesn't seem to be any at this end, but I'll leave that on to let the fuel flow around to the carburetor so we can check that there's no leaks at that end of the pipe. But something else we noticed is that on this non-original seat and seat hinge arrangement, the nut had come off the end of the original bolt. So when we just touched the bolt, it pretty much just fell out, which that wouldn't be very helpful if we're driving along and the seat falls off. So we do have some new bolts that we're going to put on with nylon nuts so they don't fall off, and with the luxury of washers. So we're going to replace both the one that fell out and the one that didn't. With these new bolts and nuts. We've got the seat bolted down now, and we're now going to try and start the tractor. This is very much a cold start because it hasn't been started in years. We've got the tractor outside now, as you can probably hear, and we've let it warm up for a couple of minutes and just run a bit. Seems to be running all right, but every now and then it seems to puff a bit of blue smoke out, so it might need a valve job doing in future possibly. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go and take it for a bit of a drive. 1253 ran pretty well then. For a first run in quite a few years, I'd call that a success. On occasion it did puff out a bit of smoke, and when you took the load off it, it did rev up quite a lot, which that could be governor problem, that could be valves, possibly with the smoking. But we'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section down below about what you think about these possible problems. And we are now going to class this tractor as a working tractor, so it will go with the rest of our working tractors, and we'll definitely be using this a lot more to get to know the tractor a bit more and see how any of those possible problems develop. But that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Please subscribe to my channel, like this video and see our other videos. More to follow as we do more on this tractor. Bye!